Short attention span.
But see, I'm gonna tell you, man, the way I feel is the truth is the truth, but you can't save everybody.
You can't say that.
And the fact of the matter is, you gotta fuck with the ones who really gonna listen and say, man, you know what? I trust and believe what he's saying because it's proof in the pudding.
And
You know what I'm saying?
and all you do to pick those out in the crowd is the ones that's responding and the ones that's listening.
Yeah.
You know, whether they responding kindly or not, they listen. See, and that's the thing. You can't get offended when they respond with a little aggression and anger and things because they're angry.
Yeah.
Rightly so.
Yeah. Like I tell my dude all the time, I say, anytime you come up with an opinion or you think something, you open it up for criticism.
Period.
Anytime. You can say it the fuck you want to feel, you go you want to feel. But once you open your mouth, you open up for criticism. Hopefully, if you're saying something that's good, people hear it in the right light and be like, you know what? All right, I like that. You know what I'm saying? About saying something, then you can somewhat mold them into a path. Like, I don't want you going along this path I went through, because shit get real.
Which is another reason why we decided to do Hood Chronicles in this fashion. The reason why I actually decided to put it together as a mini series, because I was originally gonna put out.
Hold that real fast. We want to get you. We need that. Hold that.
We all bringing it.
We
I'm trying to get him tagged in.
Are you getting me
We
in?
about to get you tagged in. What's up, y'all, man? We about to get jumping here in a minute, man. It's on me, Tank, man. What's cracking with y'all out there? About to get it going. We got a special guest.
You got me in there.
Doing this little. It's not giving me one of
What's the
the options to tag.
you got
You got your shit blocked from
Here we go. I got you.
all right,
I see you got the crew.
absolutely.
What's
Yeah,
going
this
on,
is
y'all doing, man?
this is Cast the Crew.
What's up with it?
Everybody take the opportunity to introduce yourselves. You know.
What's up, my man? W. Nice to meet you, bro.
And I introduced their character.
Tell the camera. Oh, excuse me.
All right.
Tell them.
Should come in your way now.
This is one of our detectives in the story.
Okay.
And that's Dirty Red. He's a dirty undercover cop.
5 red.
That's Childhood Rhonda.
All right.
That's Miss Queenie. She runs a brothel
Matter of
of
fact,
females.
can y'all
Okay, give us like 30 seconds.
step over to the
Run the intro, then we gonna come in live.
Stand up, come up beside me, do what the brothers is, please. We want y'all to be seen now. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We want y'all to be seen. Get y'all over this. Cuss slide this nigga.
Truth
You
be
know what?
told,
Y'all want me
radio.
to- Y'all want me to catty corner the
No, that's
couch?
cool. We just
We
do
keep
that.
it a buck because we don't give a.
But we don't give a fuck. Oh yeah, we in the building, baby.
Yeah, we in the building.
We in
What's
the
up,
building, man.
y'all?
Truth be told, radio, man. We here, man.
Hey, look.
We here,
First,
baby.
first of all, y'all know us. That's irrelevant today. Because what y'all looking at right here, if y'all checking us out on live, y'all seeing unity in action. Y'all seeing support. Y'all seeing brotherhood, sisterhood. Y'all seeing struggle. Y'all seeing hope. Y'all seeing change. So don't think. I got the very prolific Mr. Martin Luther X, Brother Prof, in the building with his cast and crew
You see him.
of some very upcoming entertainment and education film for y'all titled Hood Chronicles. So I just want to welcome y'all to the building. Thanks for coming to check us out today.
Absolutely.
Man. Well, since we done introduced you real fast.
Well, let's do it
Yeah, we
again.
gonna get y'all to talk right.
Y'all
Right.
introduce yourself and say who your character is.
My name is Devin. I play the detective.
There you go. Cool. There you go.
My name is Devin. I play detective. Pretty Jackson it is.
All right.
Know who I am, Demetrius. One of the twins they came. I play Dirty Red. Also a detective.
I'm Takoya, and I play Nurse Cortez.
My name is Nene and I play Childhood Rhonda.
Shantae Renee Yard, and I'm Madam Queenie.
Akiva, and I play Nurse Alina.
Thank you.
And I'm Mr. Prophecy, aka Martin Luther X, writer and producer. And, I play a couple of characters in there. I play an angel. Let me just give you the storyline. The storyline is I have a meeting with God in the beginning. I'm dead, and I asking for a chance to live again because I had some unfinished business. And he tells me, yes, you do have some unfinished business, and I need you to go back and fix everything you helped mess up. So I get sent back as an angel with a few more angels into the past to go back to my original decisions that led to other people's decisions messing up the city, you know. So I have to go back and fix my part, but I also have to help others fix their part. And so for the first 6-7 episodes, I'm in angel form. Toward the middle episodes, you get my story arc coming in to show you how I originally ended up dying to have this opportunity in the first place. But there's just like there's angels in the story, there's also demons in the story, and you're gonna see them likely influencing, you know, situations, the good and the bad in the city.
Okay.
And you're gonna find out it's a dynamic over the city that, you know, we always say, most people in Akron that's conscious say there's a black cloud over Akron. Well, I'm gonna give that black cloud a face and a personality in this story. And basically it's to tell Akron's story from the perspective of everything we've been dealing with in the last 8 years, and let people see tragedy turn into triumph, because you're gonna see how a lot of the decisions that was made, the angels reverse it. And then by the middle of the episode, you start seeing the OGs in the city coming together because they realize that the war that they started is what's killing off their kids. And it starts crossing too many lines, so they actually sit down and devise a plan to fix it, and that's when the angels get involved. You're gonna see some fight scenes because angels and demons are gonna be fighting. You're gonna see some fight scenes between the human beings. And it's not a religious thing, but it's an opportunity for people to see spirituality is involved in everything. You know, we're making a spiritual decision every time we wake up. You know, every time we make any type of small decision that has any effect or any encounter with anyone else's life, we're making a decision that changes a life. So we're gonna tell it from that perspective, but we also gonna tell it from the perspective of, you know, how no matter how, because there's 6 series of Hood Chronicles and there's 13 episodes apiece. So every time you think, every time you think you done fixed it, something else gonna pop up.
Okay.
And spoiler alert, at the end, you're gonna see it looks like success, and then you're gonna see why success ain't happen just that easy. You know,
It never does.
so
Switch mics here, right quick.
this one right here. Cool. Perfect. The other thing is too, I still wanted to intertwine the music, because when I originally thought of doing this, I originally thought of doing it like Trapped at the Closet.
Okay.
But I said,
I was sitting there thinking like they just standing there, ain't got to
crew.
crew. Hold it down, man. Hold on, we gotta get him man. Let's hold it down. They was like, man, we gotta give him a
That's the crew right there.
Appreciate that. Sorry about that.
And you know, and I also want to give some of the cast members the opportunity to sit down here in this chair too and tell it from their perspective.
Word up.
I don't know how long we got, but just
This Truth Be Told Radio,
You know what I
what
mean?
the hell we kind of want to do.
okay, there it is.
You know what I mean?
Pretty
There
much.
it is.
It said in the motto, Truth Be Told Radio, we keep it a
Truth be
buck.
told.
We don't give a fuck.
You better say it now.
So I was originally going to do, you know, a hip hop version of Trapped in the Closet. And I was going to tell the story from that perspective.
It's
Hold
funny,
on.
'cause I kinda
We can't let
thought
that slide.
with all the
Y'all gotta take a
episodes.
30-second time out, man. What?
Not the R. Kelly
No,
version.
I get it, but you gotta
But
admit,
a
that shit's
hip
funny
hop
shit.
version. A hip hop version of
Nigga coming
Trapped in
out
the
pop
Closet.
like I'll kill you, nigga.
No. But you know what? So that's why I didn't do that. But then I was inspired because last year I actually wrote a whole movie.
Okay.
And I was in a movie in 2016 called what is it called?
Brother doing so much you can't even remember.
It's on my
That's what I'm
page
talking
too.
about now.
It's called Affliction. I was in a movie called Affliction, shot in Cleveland, and I met a dude who's actually a major casting director, and he took a liking to me and everything. And I told him I was interested in the writing part, you know, and he said, "Well, go sit down and write." So that's what I did, and I sat down and wrote a movie, and the movie.
That's where the money at.
The movie is called The Burden of the Tree, and it shows how the tree of life gave us extraordinary abilities while we were, you know, earthbound, and how we were so connected to one another that it transcended over into the fallen world of man, and we still connected to one another, but you know, you got good and evil forces working. And he liked it so much that he told me, he said, listen, this is Hollywood level writing. He said, I don't know if you ever did this before or not. He was like, but this right here is really good. He said, the only thing is, for something like this, you gotta have a major budget. He said, so I'm gonna tell you exactly what to do. He said, I need you to go, sit down, do the same type of writing, and put together a mini-series, throw it up on YouTube. He said, if it goes viral, you won't need a budget. He said, you won't need a budget at all. He said, because what people don't understand about being viral is a money magnet. He said, because everybody that is in the mainstream is paying attention to you now because you did all of the footwork that was done for them yourself.
Right.
You've already
And
created your
profitable.
promotional team.
Right.
You know,
So-
it looks like your storyline for the Hood Chronicles is a prophecy in itself, no pun intended.
Yeah, to a degree, I can say that because I'm trying to speak life into my city, man. You know what I mean? And I you can't do that by ignoring the problem. So that's why we're going. I mean, and we got a dope makeup artist on board. She on that face-off level.
Okay.
So you're gonna see goriness in there and everything. Like you're gonna really see. Matter of fact, one of the scenes that's coming up that we're gonna be shooting. She's actually gonna have one of the girls is gonna be painted to the point where she looks dead, and she's gonna have a cut wound because she gets stabbed in prison. That's Londa's mother. She gets stabbed in prison and she dies. But so you're gonna see stuff like that. You're even gonna see, you know, a different look for some of the demonic version of the people in the miniseries. I'm so serious about what I'm doing that I just, you know, sat down with a dude and talked about purchasing all of his movie equipment, green screens, all of that.
You
Like,
focus.
you know,
Definitely
yeah.
focus.
And the other thing about it is, so the music aspect of it, the way that I include the music aspect, is I'm gonna still give them a visual mixtape, but it's gonna be like the soundtrack inside the miniseries. Because when you get toward the end of the episode, you get a music video that recaps that episode. And then
okay.
when the music video fades out, you get a little bit more of the episode with it to be continued.
Oh, okay.
Okay, little tie-in.
Change
Yeah.
it, but you know when you do stuff like that, you got to do something that sets you apart.
Yeah,
You got to have something
absolutely.
that sets you apart from everybody else that don't know. Like, man, we done seen this shit before.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You don't want
Right.
nobody feeling like that.
I mean, your format is definitely unique, you know. Once you give the folks a little bit of background about, you know, I mean, because to have this kind of drive and have this kind of focus and commitment to what you're doing, you've had to have a set of experiences
Oh, yeah.
that gives purpose to why you're moving this, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, like I was saying earlier when we were talking before we, you know, got on these mics. For one, I'm definitely a product of my environment, but a product of my environment who overcame his environment. And although I've overcome the nature of my environment, I haven't left my environment. So I'm still in the midst of what's going on to the point where I'm concerned about my environment. And you know, my background, man, most of my life, you know, I was in a villainous state of mind. You know, I didn't mind at all, you know, I had shootouts, you know, gang life, drug dealing life, you know, all the stuff that is typical of a black man,
Right.
you know, in the hood. And then I had an older sister, man. She passed away a few years ago, about maybe 5 years ago. God bless her.
Condolences.
But things that she would tell me, man. You know, I was born on her third birthday, and we had a bond that was a strange bond. Like, she understood me before I understood her. And she told me back when I was a kid, man, she said, you know, you may have a lot of aggression in you, but your heart is bigger than you can even understand. someday that aggression and that heart gonna combine and it's gonna make a hero out of it. And I thought my sister was just trying to make me feel good, you know. But that permission right there in that little conversation to be bigger than to become better than what I ever thought I could be, that set me free before I even knew what the freedom was. Because when she said that, it gave me a different perspective of myself. Because, you know, I was the typical kid whose, father wasn't with his mother. You know, I was being raised by my stepfather. Me and my stepfather weren't close at all at that time. You know, we super close now. That's my dad. You know what I mean? I love the dude, period. But we weren't close at that time. And I was a hellion, period. You know, I was so, I didn't get home till I was like 4 years old because my real father had me till I was 4 years old. And when I finally got home, I felt like a stranger because I was all my brothers and sisters, they're dark complected. I'm light complected. You know, I'm half Samoan. You know, it was a lot different about me than it was them. And so I already felt like I didn't fit in. So then I started figuring out strange little things about me, little abilities and things that I had. And I don't say abilities to, freak people out or make people think anything strange, but, I started noticing gifts, As a matter of fact, I'll just give a simple one. I was in kindergarten and I have a photographic memory, so I can remember a lot of things, but when I was in kindergarten, the teacher said for us to sit down and draw a picture. I picked up a science book, drew a fish out of the science book, but I drew the fish so like the fish that was in the book that she sent me home with a note telling my mom that they needed to meet. When Mom came in, she said, "The son doesn't follow directions." We told him to sit down and draw a fish. He traced the fish out of the book. We said, "No tracing." She said, "He traced it?" And the teacher said, "Yeah, he traced it." And my mom takes the picture and puts it over the top of the fish. She said, "Where do you see tracing?" But here's the sad thing about children who are gifted in the hood.
They shut it.
That's it. You get found out that you're gifted, and that's it. Nothing else happens. You know what I mean? That's why I don't like to hear people hating on LeBron. That's why I don't like, you know what I'm saying? Let's skip over the sports part.
Yeah,
Like, so what? You know what I mean? This man's heart is made of gold. And why? Because he came out of coal. He came out of one of the roughest parts of the city, So to see him giving back to the city the way he's giving back, nobody has anything to complain about when it comes to that man. Because, where you want to compare him to someone like a Jordan, but Jordan put 20 million in prisons. This man put over 40 million in schools and then opened up a school. You know what I mean? So, in spite of what anybody might want to think about the man, his heart is for his city. That being said, I don't want the world to think the only person that has a heart for the city of Akron is LeBron James. Word up. There's plenty of unsung heroes in Akron who I feel like the time is now because, the best thing that LeBron could have did for the city was open the School of Promise. Huge. That put the whole world's eyes on Akron. Shouts out to LeBron.
Yeah,
for real.
that's big shit, man.
And I feel like, when you get to a certain place in life and you realize that you were gifted with influence, you got to make up your mind what you're going to do with that influence. Right. Now, most gifted and influential people in the hood start off rough. You start off rough. But you can Mega Mind your life. I don't know if whoever out there has ever seen the little cartoon movie Mega Mind. You know what I mean? You can Mega Mind your life though. He started off as the villain, and it wasn't. He really didn't start off as a villain. He was misunderstood and pushed into villainy by way of needing to survive.
Because he's trying to fit in sends your mind in a different
directions.
You know what I'm saying? When you like, okay, I'm here, like, you know what I'm saying? You like, I want to be a part of this, I want to be a part of this. But really, it's not, I want to be a part of it. I just want someone to say, hey, man, you all right.
You all right.
That's all you ask.
You fit.
You see what I'm
fit
saying?
into this story.
Exactly. And sometimes it's like, you go through bullshit. And a lot of shit we go through, in my opinion, is shit we put ourselves through.
Absolutely.
Because we trying to understand who the fuck we are in the first damn place.
Henceforth, a major part of my point. When you don't know whose you are, you don't know who you are.
Period.
And that's a twofold. There's a twofold meaning to that, because before you can understand who you are on earth, you got to understand who you were before you were sent to earth. You know, who you should end up being when you leave from earth.
Your compass.
And you know, understanding
Say that,
God.
say that again. Say that again.
Before,
Hit him
if you
again.
don't understand whose you are, you don't understand who you are. And in order to understand that, you got to understand, before you can understand who you were on earth, who you are on earth, you got to understand who you were before earth. And then in order to, you know, get to who you are going to become after earth, you got to understand who you are in the earth. And you can't understand that without understanding your connection to your Heavenly Father. You know what I mean? Now, I don't in any way, shape, form, or fashion promote religion. I don't believe in religion. But I believe in relationship with God. I believe that, you know, I believe in the God within us, and I believe in the Almighty God. So we'll see, what people can't separate is, you know, I know I'm a God. I know that. And I know that because, not just because I believed it off of some euphoric, you know, tablet that somebody expressed to me. I understood it for a long time before I ever read about it, because, let me just put it like this. If a bear gives birth, did the bear give birth to a cat or a bear? If we're the children of God, are we humans or are we gods?
Like produces
We didn't
life.
become Homo sapien until we fell from godhood. Now, that being said, we were never the Almighty God. So people have a tendency to throw the baby out with the bathwater, get a hold of some new knowledge, and decrease the knowledge that they already had. You can't debunk having a father because you are. You can't make yourself the father because you are. But you are just like your father, you know, with some difference in your personality.
Can say made in the image, don't it?
Come on. But that being said, I feel like it's time for our culture to be given permission to be the heroes in the story again. You know what I mean? We've somehow accepted convincing that we are only allowed to be the villain in the story. You know, and this is the reason why so many people in the city aren't brave enough. Listen, they talented enough.
Right.
Oh, don't get me wrong.
Right.
Akron is full
Yeah.
of talent, but you may have, I'm gonna be nice and say 30% that actually want to use that talent to motivate and create, whereas the rest want to use that talent to tear down and get selfish gain. And if tearing down the wall of your city and leaving it exposed to all type of attack is what you call making it,
You know, it's funny. I read a stat of yours earlier today, where, and I'm paraphrasing, but you basically put it that, you know, no one wants to show up when the work needs to be done, but they want to show up when the results are in.
right?
And you know what I said was, you know, like, it's the nature of the game out here,
Right.
unfortunately, because I mean, we'll even take this platform what we're doing. You know what I mean? We're putting together a internet radio station
Right.
to showcase music, talent, intellect, resources, everything positive out of our city.
Right.
You find a struggle in building your brand,
Right.
because what people want to see are the fruits of the labor before they're convinced to be invested in.
Exactly.
And it's baffling. But what I've come to understand out of that is that when you're in those kind of situations, you find the people that are really tilling the field, people that are actually really tilling the harvest.
Right.
You know, I look at this crew right here, and I see the result of people that saw this brother's vision,
Right.
identified to, saw the benefit that it could bring,
Right.
and found the best of their talents to add to it, strictly off of the love of the cause of itself.
Right.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying? When I came down, man, you know, true story, y'all. You know, I come down the steps, come down the lobby. Now, I done known this brother for some years. I know that his charisma has a way of getting people to see and go on board with what moves him, and they find it within themselves. So I wasn't surprised that there was going to be a squad. This is most people we'd had in this building, and I'm humbled by that, because it's like, yo, y'all saw, hey, this is promotion. This is something positive. We on board.
Right.
And I said, you know what? You need to see more of that.
More of that. And that's the point.
More of that.
That's the
You
point.
know what I mean?
And that's the reason why I took it out of a selfish place. Originally, I was trying to put out a visual mixtape, like I said, because my music deals with this stuff anyway.
Right.
All right. So, I could have just dealt with it with the music. But I said that ain't right. I ain't the only one in the city care about my city.
Right.
So I sat down and I thought about situations that I knew about. I thought about situations that I've been involved in, and I just began to write. And the characters that came out of that writing, people can correlate these characters with people in the city when they see the stories unfold. And what it's gonna do for those people is it's gonna give them a different perspective of their own life, because I give you a small example. When we did the music video part of the music video, because we ain't finished yet, but when we did part of the music video part for episode 1, which is Do You Mind, there's a part where you see Jamal, Davion, which is nicknamed Junebug in the film. There's a part where you see him get arrested, and you see how he ends up in prison and all this other stuff. But when it happens, we let the whole full scene go through. And then it's like a rewind. It's like now the angels are singing. So it's a rewind. And when the rewind happens, when they come back, we're walking up on the scene, me and one of the other ones that play the angels. We're walking up on the scene, and as we get closer, now, everybody's seen the mannequin challenge, but we did it a little different. As we get closer, they slow down until we get close enough for them to stop.
Okay.
And then when they stop, we move them in such a way that the whole situation changes. And the dope that he was gonna get caught with, I take the dope. I have he's the arresting officer at the time, so I have the one that Junebug, the one that he's arresting, ends up shaking his hand. But they can't tell that we doing this to them.
Right.
It's just like it's happening so fast, they don't even know what happened. So it's intervention.
Right.
So we end up changing the whole situation to when they come snapping out of it, they can't even embrace the anger of the situation no more, because there's nothing to be angry about. There's no dope, there's no case, there's nothing to build against this person. And so it changes that moment. Even the moment where Junebug and Nurse Cortez, which is his lady, are arguing in the car. She get ready to slap him, shut up, because he been liking pictures on Instagram. And so when she get ready to slap him, the angels, see that's a reason to get involved, because one of the things that push a man to doing more sometimes than he ought to do, even in the financial department, would make a man even want to get back out there and sell some dope, is because he got a woman that he want to please, and he trying to do his best by her, and she ain't all that happy. So now he got to do some things to, amp that happiness up.
Reasons to always get you off your.
But we end up making it where she's instead of slapping his face, she's holding his face, and she's pulling him to her, and they.
Well, she telling him, I'm just sick of your shit.
Yeah, I'm sick of your shit.
Stop it.
But,
So when you do these things, like, what are you trying to give to people? Like, when you say you change the code, what do you want them to think when they see this? Like, what is the main focus point when people see it? You like, bam, I see it.
Second chance.
Okay.
Word up.
Now with the second chance, it's just second chance to say, okay, it's like, oh, okay, I can just fuck up better. Or is the second chance to say, I'm not even going to take that avenue?
Exactly. Sending you down a different path. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what you're going to see. You're going to see the situations rearranged to you don't have a choice but to go down another path.
Okay.
If you just had a kilo of dope and it disappears.
You broke as fuck.
Yeah. Yeah.
First of all,
Lord Jesus, it's gonna be a different Lord Jesus. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be a different Lord Jesus.
But the good thing about it is you was right in the middle of getting busted.
Right.
So that dope disappearing left you broke as fuck, but free in the motherfucker
right.
too. So yes.
Right.
But
That's a silent W.
But
It
I,
is.
but okay,
It is.
that's a silent no.
But that's how life works, man. We all have been in situations where it's like,
Woo,
Right.
right.
like, damn, man, I had to kill some dope in my tags is bad, and I've been riding back and forth to Cleveland, kicking
Come on,
it,
bro.
and I ain't got pulled over.
Right.
Whew.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
And you're gonna catch a lot of those.
Right.
You're gonna catch a lot of those. Like I give you a little Easter egg turning point for Miss Queenie. Somebody dies from somebody in her brothel.
Hello.
From somebody in her, yeah, all phones on silent, please. But somebody in her brothel, a female, she just ain't nothing but a female pimp, kills somebody that she ends up finding out is very important to her. Her little background story is when she was 17, she was on drugs, and she sold her child to the local drug dealer. And the local drug dealer, she thought, would have sold it to somebody else to get the money for the kid, raised him on his own. But the reason why he raised him is because his mama sold him. So you're gonna see, so dynamics like that. But what happens to Miss Queenie is when she finds out that this person that got killed by one of her girls is actually the son that she thought she would never see. It sends her into a mindset of, okay, now we got to do something, and so she calls a meeting in the city. But what makes her change, she still wasn't really on the change level yet. But what actually makes her change is coming out of the meeting, somebody who wants to get some get back on her son's behalf, who she doesn't even know, they don't even know is her mom, goes to try to run her over. And she ends up under the car, and the angel lifts the car off of her and tells her, this is your child, this is your opportunity for change. I don't know what you're gonna do with it, And it's gonna be kind of in a hood way.
Right.
Now, y'all, yes, man. That's what I'm gonna do.
Hood Chronicles,
I'm gonna
y'all.
lift the car off of
I
her.
wanna,
Do we have a release date for this? For the
Not
fourth
yet.
project?
And but we're gonna keep putting up the Easter eggs. You know how they do.
Okay.
I want to switch topics real quick on y'all, because before we came on, you and I was kind of getting to a little decent grown man conversation. You had the hat tilted and everything. I felt good. You know what I'm saying? So, but I want you to somewhat elaborate on that again. We were speaking on, for y'all, I don't know if who was caught in with, but me and the brother was talking about unfortunate situation that went down, and he basically the some of what he was saying is it's time for people to start taking action instead of just always complaining about what ain't happening. So
Yeah.
can you touch on that just a little bit more, man?
Well, yeah. Like I said, one of the things that's also made me passionate about this Hood Chronicles miniseries is that I went to a meeting of the minds. I won't particularly name the place because I'm not disrespectful like that. But I went to a place and I appreciated the meeting. That's one thing I will say. I appreciated the meeting. I appreciated the fact that people had a desire to come together to talk about it. But this was after little Tyrone got killed. And the next day when it happened, or 2 days after it happened, I went up there to the parking lot where they did the memorial. And I was talking with them dudes, and something in my mind clicked because earlier in that day I had a conversation in the gym about it with some older cats, and they had nothing but bad to say about this generation. Then after that, and I go up there and I talk to these dudes, and I'm saying things to them about them as individuals that I personally know, and that I believe in them. You know what I mean? That I'm not gonna be one of the ones, because I'm from Generation X. This is the new millennial generation. So I said, as Generation X, I'm not gonna give up on y'all. You know what I mean? Because we were supposed to be X'd out, and we turned out to be all right. You know what I mean? We turned out to be some survivors for real. But where we messed up, and I told them, I said, forgive us on the behalf of my generation. Let me just ask that y'all forgive us, and say, where we actually messed up in our generation is we dropped the ball of all that hardcore survival knowledge that we picked up having to take care of ourselves and shit. Because let's keep it 100. We're the crack epidemic. We come from the crack epidemic, and when the crack epidemic got strong, we began to raise ourselves. Right. Most of us, what I mean? It didn't matter if you had two parents there; they wasn't raising you; they was out partying. You know what I mean? And that being said, none of us in Generation X should ever have anything to say bad about this generation because of we are the ones that raised this generation for real. You know what I mean? But we didn't though.
Right.
You know, we raised them and we didn't. And you know, we became self-centered by default.
We was
became
babies raising younger babies. That's what
Exactly.
ended up happening.
And that's
with us.
exactly right.
You know what I'm saying?
We was raising our younger brothers and
and
sisters.
through our trials and tribulations, trying to figure it out,
Maybe-
we didn't know how to tell them to figure it out.
To figure
and then,
it
and
out.
I guess the thing, like for me personally about that, I get that shit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because I damn sure ain't no motherfucking angel. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Fuck it. It is what the fuck it is. We lived
Right.
through what we lived through. But the thing is, what I learned is that from my experiences, it's got to be a way that I got to reach out and say something.
Right.
What frustrates is when, and I think the reason why, I think when people say they lost, they ain't shit. I think people get frustrated because they feel like the kids don't listen when they're giving them like pertinent information.
And
then,
I-
but
and
you
I-
made a
and
good
I- and I
point
get
earlier
that.
when you said that. Did you listen?
Did
But I
you
guess
listen?
they feel like but I think people look at it as a different sign of disrespect. You know what I'm saying? When you
And,
all
and I
looking
agree.
at that, you know what I mean?
I agree with that 100%. I'll give you that, and I'll raise you this. That's true. But the reality is this: we didn't listen. We heard.
Total
We
difference.
didn't listen.
Total difference.
Right.
And when we finally did listen, we had already been through enough that the words that were planted came up like a conscience, because it grew up, the seed of those words grew up into our conscience and caused us to have fruit of that consciousness, because we had no choice. We had to now switch it up, because in order to survive, we had to become different. But some of us didn't really get the memo and remained self-centered and became so self-centered that we held on to our youth so bad that that's the reason why you have, and let me just say as a disclaimer, I don't fear no man. So making these type of statements I'm about to make, you can't take my life. The only way that you can take my life is if God decide it's time for my life to be taken. So I will never be afraid to say what I want to say. But the reason why we have OGs in the city paying these young niggas to go kill, because they still so thirsty to hold on to their youth that they think in order to hold on to their youth, they gotta buy loyalty. And in order, because they can't go to war with these cats, because they ain't cut like that no more. They done become family men and things like that. So they ain't cut to go out and do the dirt on their own. So they gonna pay you a couple racks. And here's what's sad: this generation is gonna do it, not even for the couple racks. They doing it for the love. They doing it for the loyalty. The one thing that I hate to hear, that I heard about this generation, when they say this generation ain't shit, that's not true, because in this 8 years that I've been home and I've been working in these clubs, listen, man, the loyalty between these cats, you know, I'm real tight with a little squad named OBE. They so close together, man. The way they love each other, man. Listen, if one of them go to jail, they pay that cat's bills. Bruh, we could learn from them. We could learn
It's
from
all
them.
about taking and moving in the right direction.
You know what I'm
man.
saying?
You
And that's
understand?
all it
Yeah.
is. But
Right.
you know, they love each other, they loyal to one another, you know, and they've experienced a lot of tragedy, man. You know, that's why we got all these memorials around the city. They've experienced a lot of tragedy. You know, you think back to the time when you was losing friends and you was 15 years old and 16 years old and you losing friends left and right. Well, then magnify that by about 50.
You know,
With the drugs.
and
all
I
that.
think a
With
lot
the
of that,
drugs and all of that.
a lot of that is the fact that our generation we came from one of the last generations that tried to put an image to their lifestyle, you know what I'm saying, or their conduct. That do as I say, not as I do generation.
And that's foolish.
But at the same time, there's a bittersweet give and take from that. That's why we heard the lessons. We didn't listen, but the lessons were given to us.
The lessons were given.
And that idea of having some kind of self-love was at least attempted to be instilled in a lot of us.
Right.
The problem is now is that because they've taken the fathers up out of the household, they've taken the family structure out of this generation even more so than ours.
And all right.
That what they don't have now is a sense of self-identity, a sense of self-love. They have the capacity. They have the ability. And like you just said, I mean, they shared amongst themselves. I mean, when we was out in the streets, it was like, okay, most of us didn't have daddies. But whether you was in the hill, valley, Caicos, whatever side of the city you was in, your block was your home.
Right.
So you found love. You found brotherhood.
Right.
If it was even to band up to go do some shit you had no business doing, the strength of the unity was the feeling of the love that you
Right.
had. So we can't knock who they are. We have
Right.
to connect on the frequency that they relate on.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
And you just said the frequency. You just said the frequency, because if you play back in your mind, what I actually said is they're actually doing what we did.
Right.
The only difference is,
Different channel.
and they just don't have OGs
Yeah.
pulling down
They
on them.
don't. So
Because-
they
because
constantly
guess who
model
the
certain
OGs
shit,
are
like,
now?
They don't do that shit.
Us.
Yeah.
And here's the
Scary.
thing. So here's what's complex to me about that. Because probably the thing that my mother has worried about in life for me the most is that, you know, literally I could bear the nickname of Daredevil, the boy with no fear. I never knew how to be afraid of nothing. Like literally, I swear on everything I love.
So
I ain't
let's
never
do it.
been afraid. I done been cornered at times with about 20, 30 men threatening to whip my ass. Well, let's get it. You know, that's the only way we gonna know is if we go ahead and go. I'm not about to run.
I'm about to
None
put
of
a
that
disclaimer
crazy
on
stuff.
that. I'm about to put a disclaimer on that. 10 or 15 men on you, 10 or 15 men on me. You gonna be like, nigga, what y'all talking about? I'm gonna be like, man, y'all on some bullshit, but can we just like, under the time?
Hey,
nigga?
listen,
You know what
work
I'm
it out how you work it out how you gotta work
You know
it
what
out.
I'm
But
saying?
did you hear what you said though? You still gonna say, well, hey,
Yeah,
one at a time
one
though.
at a time,
But you
man.
were still willing to stand up and fight.
Oh, got to. Y'all said
Okay,
that.
so
Straight
that's
up.
my point right there. The last of a dying breed. But are we? So here's what I'm saying. I give us what we just said, and I raise us this. If this generation has the loyalty amongst each other that they have, what is missing to make them love their entire culture? Right, and the love from us. And you know why? Because we got go back baby syndrome. Go back baby syndrome. We didn't get to live our childhood.
Right.
So now we trying to go back and live our
right.
childhood.
I think that element of self-preservation, because it's like when you just, I ain't had shit. Damn, I got some shit. And you forget, like, that they need to figure out how to get there too. Because they, like you said, they're going, same channel, just different characters, man.
That's
That's
it.
all it is. You right. And just because I was like, well, he did it kind of different. We still got to respect it that he
Still
did it.
gotta respect
You know
that
what I'm
he did
saying?
it. You know what I
You right
mean?
about, I agree with that.
And
That's
the thing
fair to
about it
say.
is, it's like if we could just open up our hearts and open up our minds and see, you know, see in a more equal-eyed perspective, instead of condescending down onto them.
Mentor.
Yes, and,
Right,
and I'm
right,
gonna tell you something. It's
right.
not hard to do, man. Shout out to D. Smith, D. Smirk. You know what I mean? I'm ready to use you as an example, man. You know, my one of my main characters, the one that plays Tyrone Gibson. And I'll post the trailer to your page
Word,
so
no
that
doubt.
people who are interested in what we're talking about can see it. But he, I've been in his life since he was 14 years old, man. And you remember when Vice and Bridges and all that was here in the city? And that's another thing I wanted to say. Right. Yeah. So it's like, now listen, y'all. He claimed that. I ain't claiming that. Timeless. But
I'm like, wine.
that's right.
I'm gonna claim my
I was
wine.
waiting
I'm
for
gonna
him.
claim my
I was waiting
wine.
for him.
Shit.
But the thing is, it's like being in this dude's life, man. To see the love return now is like he's a grown man, but I'm the one that could blow down and be like, nah, bro, like what is you doing?
Right.
You know, and he gonna respect that coming from me.
Right.
But that's because from the moment that he came into my life and I came to him, I've been transparent. Like, you know, I let him see the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Right.
You know, I went to prison a couple years after becoming his mentor. You know, and this kid watching me tell him don't do this and don't do that, but he didn't allow himself to judge my circumstances because of what happened. But I judged myself in that situation because when I came home and I ran into all of the cats that I mentored, I apologized to them because they was upset with me. You know what I mean? And they had every right to be.
Right.
It takes a leader to do that.
You
man.
do.
They had every right to
You
be,
said held
you know?
yourself accountable.
Yeah, that's exactly.
You're at a
yeah.
higher standard.
And I knew they held me at that standard. So instead of, you know, dodging them and, you know, all that dumb fuckery, I just said, look, man, once I knew that one of them was upset, I knew that all of them was
Right.
upset. So, you know, because the one, he told me how, you know, every time he ran into somebody that he knew that I mentored, they got to talking and, man, you know, Prof did, man, you know, hey, the reality is this. I'm a hood nigga trying to be a good nigga. And yes, I said nigga, derived from the word nigga. King, emperor, talk to him. But I allowed myself to falter because heartbreak and wanting to have my kids in my life and all that, I put my mind back on the streets and got back in survival mode. And, you know, and I was maybe about 2 weeks away from a court appearance for shared parenting and found out that I was on child support for some kids that I had for almost a year by myself. And didn't know how that happened because I had never dealt with child support before in my life. So when it ended up happening, I was told that I only had 2 weeks to get that the rearage that was already built up down. It had built up for 7 months because I didn't even know I was on child support for 7 months. And somebody owed me some money, and I went to get it. Alright? Alright, so, and when I went to get it, you know,
The money
I had to make a choice.
The money
I had to make a choice.
The money wasn't there.
The money wasn't there. But
And
it was available. But in order for me to get it, I would have had to, you know, really do some cruel stuff to this cat. And at that point, it just didn't feel genuine. You know what I'm saying? It felt like, you know, how I'm gonna do this horrible thing to try to do this good thing, you know, and be able to straight face look my kids in the eye like, Daddy got you, you know, but how did I get you? You know what I mean? So I ended up leaving the scene, and God's retribution for that was my son is wilding out right now, and, you know, not to be cliche, but it's kind of like an old proverb. You know, Paul said he was the chief sinner. They don't want me returning to the streets full force. Because when I'm in monster mode, you know, the unique thing about Bruce Banner is that he's kind, he's very intelligent, and he's helpful. If it wasn't for that part of the Hulk, if Bruce Banner didn't exist inside the Hulk, there would be nothing left for the world when the Hulk steps on the scene.
Well, that's what we call the duality of man.
Okay, exactly. So the beautiful thing about figuring out where all of that aggression and power can go is that you can actually end up aiming it in the right direction and doing some damage for, you know, the betterment of man.
Yeah, you can be an adventurer instead of just out there like
vigilante.
Yeah,
you know. So you know, it's kind of like So it's kind of like, you know, you just got to get to a point, man, where you get tired of yourself and you get tired of the consequences you keep bringing on yourself, and you know, and in order to, you know, and I'm gonna tell you something, man. This generation has the ability to adapt that if we'd be willing to step out and give them that. You know, I challenged artists in the city. You know, artists that I respect, that, you know, did a lot of work and blew up a lot. You know, but I've challenged them. I said, you know, music is raising this generation, no doubt. Right. No doubt.
You better say it.
And I said, you know, y'all got influence in their lives. Some of y'all's family men and everything else, and y'all still talking about catching bodies.
Man.
Well, these little niggas is catching bodies.
I just need a nigga to make a song up talking about quit popping pills. I just need a nigga to do that. Okay.
Straight up.
I mean, I really think if these niggas got on some of their drugs, they'd be cool. Because I'm saying you can't you selling drugs that help a habit, and then you popping them joints, you drinking that lean, and you niggas making some money. So you niggas got a lot of lean. You know what I'm saying? You got a little cup of lean. You got a big cup of lean. And then you got a big old bottle, and you popping the fuck out them motherfuckers like they're Skittles and smoking weed, and then drinking that shit, and then you got to deal with your baby mama, then you got to deal with the police. Nigga, you fucked up.
Yeah, so it's
I had a problem and all I was smoking weed.
So the first time a nigga argue with you, you
nigga, you know what I'm saying? Because your whole system is fucked up, bro. Like, real talk.
But what's the greatest drug ever invented?
Marijuana.
Love.
Oh, sorry.
Love is more powerful than all of those drugs. The only reason people ever get off of drugs is
love. That's right.
So if we be willing to step out and dose them keep dosing them and keep dosing them until we overdose them with love, they'll stop overdosing.
Speaking of love, I want to spread the love to your cast and crew, man. I want to give them
Absolutely.
a little bit of time on the mic
Absolutely.
to give their input.
Absolutely.
Hey, yo, bro.
You already know.
Hey, we could do this forever. You already.
Right.
It's been a minute since we politic, man.
We're gonna do it again.
I think we linked
We
up. It was
overdue.
some years back. We went rolling somewhere. We was chopping it, but definitely, man. You know, the city needs more of this, man. This is dope.
Yeah,
You
appreciate
know.
it, family. Which one of you?
Start with the
This
ladies.
is smart, man.
Start
Let's
with the ladies.
let's let Miss Queenie. She got the crazy personality, so let's let Miss Queenie go first.
That's funny. He called up here and I'm shaking.
That's why I called on you.
Right,
Shook
I
your
know
head. You
that.
should have said, "Yeah, me." And I was like, "No, that's not you."
Introduce yourself again, please, for the people to see you.
Hi, Shantae.
Thank you,
I play Madam Queenie, and she is a pistol. She got a personality that's off the hook in her line of work. You know.
What's her line of work?
Just like her name, Madam Queenie, she run a basically
Keep up.
a business where she has females for sale, and she got other parts of her business besides that. But she pretty off the hook. Just the person that she is. She doesn't have the upbringing to make her square, I guess. So she had to be tough, and pretty much she's trying to run her little segment of life the best she can. I'm pleased to know that she does like have angels and demons involved, you know, to help her try to get herself straightened out, you know. She a little force to be reckoned with.
Word up.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, your character is she's a queen with a conscience out here. You know what I'm saying? She's doing her thing. Is this your first acting role, or you got other works in your resume?
Actually, no. I can say that when I went to Bookdale High School,
1040 in the building. Jump on. Griff gang, baby, Griff gang.
one of the teachers, she definitely wanted me to go out of Bookdale and to pursue an acting career during
can
that
dig
time.
that.
And I just did not pursue it. I had other things that I felt like was more important at the time.
We had biology class together
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
when I was there.
I used to just enjoy being amongst my peers more than I did like being in class. So it put a damper on, you know, my focus during the time. But acting was one of my better suits. She wanted me to actually take a role that I decided to give to somebody else. I want to say Celeste or somebody. I can't really remember the entire, you know, cast and crew. But shout out to BHS. 97 Griffs in the building.
Class of 97.
97.
All three of us.
Yes.
But playing a role is, I don't know, it actually caught me off guard. Somebody asked me to come be a part of this show, and I just, actually, when I first started, I was thinking, okay, I'm just an extra for that day. And then when the role was made available to me, I just jumped on it like, sure, why not? I don't do a lot, you know, as far as putting in like a work analysis on what acting is supposed to be.
Whether you're a method
you know.
actor or an
Right,
improviser.
right.
Okay, I got you.
I just take off with whatever's given.
But you know that's the dope thing. I mean, us as a people, we're naturally expressive. This is why music, art, creativity, literary arts, acting, all those things. I mean, we grow up doing it. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know, whether being kids playing, you know, girls playing with Barbies and playing their own things, and boys doing G.I. Joe and acting out their favorite
Right.
shows. You know, it's I'm sure it's got to feel awesome now to be able to use your natural talents to help give a message back.
Right.
to
She
Well,
people.
see,
definitely
that's
is
a
a
little kind of, you put a damper on some females. I actually love G.I. Joe.
Oh, okay.
Acting out the movie
She got some
role
fight
with the
scenes in
boys.
here.
playing
She got some
basketball.
She got some fight scenes in here.
Act like she can't like Transformers and shit,
Right,
bro.
right.
She owns it, man.
Everybody before
Definitely gotta have
school.
some fight.
Yeah, man.
So,
Word.
but yeah, I definitely am, grateful for how we were raised. We went to camp. We did a lot of different things to have us well-rounded to where I could come on board and do something like that. And, just being amongst good people because truly I've watched everybody go into character and just be, on and off the set, good people. So, I shout out to Prophecy doing this thing on the whole movie in the first place because I wouldn't be here without that. But hopefully everybody enjoys it and
It sounds like things coming full circle.
Oh,
That's what it sounds like, and that's good to hear.
yeah,
Griffin.
right.
Well, we definitely thank you for coming out and representing. You know what I
Definitely
mean?
do.
We're looking forward to this project, and like I said, we will be helping to share, promote that.
Definitely.
Y'all keep in mind that Consciousville will help like, share, add, promote, whatever we can do because we're also a multimedia company as well.
Yeah, I'm all in because I want to see this stuff,
Yeah.
man. These shows, he gave us so many little snippet clippets.
Yeah, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I want to know what's going on, man.
Well,
I like being private about things personally, just not to give it away, but it is a good, to put a little bit of the juicy out there so people can look
Yeah.
forward to something good,
Splash.
A sprinkle.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Well, we thank you for coming out and sharing with us.
Yes, we do.
Is there anybody else dropping some promos here?
Next.
Right.
You know,
You know.
next.
Somebody come.
Somebody got to come
Go
next.
ahead, Miss Rhonda. Childhood Rhonda.
Oh, thank you.
Miss Queenie could have showed dope. All right, so I had. Nah, you talking shit.
Well, you got it wrong.
But I wanted to know. What you doing today?
Funny as
I don't mind. We just tripping. You know what I'm saying? Introduce yourself to the people.
Well, my name is Nene, aka DJ. I play Childhood Rhonda,
Okay.
Okay.
and like they were saying, it's like dope that people still like want to do stuff in the city, cause everybody lazy. They got the heart to do it, but don't want to do it.
Ain't got the legs.
So I'm with you.
And me and my friends done talked about doing so much stuff, but the way life is, it don't happen. It don't ever we never put the pieces together to make it happen.
And so how'd you get introduced to Pride?
Well, him and my mom is friends, so I believe they used to act together, and so
Okay.
he had hit me up and was like, well, I need you to play this part for me. So I'm like, well, I ain't got nothing better else to do. So I was like, okay, why not? Like, I ain't doing nothing, gotta keep myself active. So I was like, all right. And then when he introduced me to the role, I'm like, this not myself. This don't relate to like
That's
I
what makes
can't
it
see
good.
myself.
Exactly.
That's what makes it good, though.
Like I can't see myself. But then, like the more we do it, I'm like, okay, well I can add this, and I can put this together, and it's been fun like playing somebody that you're not like.
It
It's
sound
just-
like you bad. It sound like your character is ass. You know what I'm saying? It sound like, quit touching that shit. It sound like you like, calm down. Goddamn, you shot Ray Ray. You know what I'm saying? That's like
No, but it is. It's fun working with the cast. It's like having like a family. Like
That's what's up.
it's real cool.
Word up.
Man, it just feel good. I'm gonna tell you, just hearing just a few of y'all talking to me, you know what feel good about this whole thing for me? Is acting doing something. Because one thing we came on, one of the main things we wanted to do, we got tired of the negative connotation that's on acting. That's been our biggest thing. It's so much to offer here, man. You know what I'm saying? That's been our biggest thing, what we've been trying to do. And seeing this is like, man, this shit cool.
It's
as fuck.
confirmation,
You know
man.
what I'm saying? It's a smile, right? Exactly, bro. It's confirmation.
I got a question. What do y'all do with that room right there?
Well, we will discuss.
Well-
we will just hold on. I got this. We will discuss business opportunities at the end of the show.
You're online.
We're on live right now. We will discuss business opportunities at the end of the show. Back to
I
our
just wanted to say
program.
thank you to y'all
Yeah.
for making it possible for that room to be utilized.
That's it. There go that villain shit he put in there. So nigga, you using the room. But I love it, y'all. This love it. Truth be told, radio, man, we love this, man.
Oh,
So
man.
after you got into the role, like, what was the hardest thing you feel was your transition?
The hardest thing was me thinking about a position I could never be in. Like trying to picture myself in it and like, okay, well, like I ain't never been put in this predicament, or I ain't never thought I could ever do this, like ever in my life. And then me pushing myself to that limit, it's like facing a new challenge, and I love being challenged. So it's like, okay, well, since you want me to do that, I'ma do it. You feel me?
Mhm.
So it's like, well, I'ma just like think about it, figure out how I can better myself into like portraying Rhonda. Like I want people to actually believe, like, ooh, maybe she did. Like that's crazy. Like she playing this too good. Like,
People see her in that group like, man, ain't fucking with her. That's Rhonda. You know? Right. That's what's up. That's what's up.
So you got anybody like you sat back and picked like a actress off of a film, but like that's a role I'm a go after, or that's the type of personality I'm gonna try and pull into this, or
Good question.
you know what I mean?
Good question.
that's crazy because like me myself, I watch all types of movies, and my whole family think I'm racist because I only like black movies. Like I love seeing black
ain't mad
people
at it.
empowered. Like
I ain't mad at that.
so it was like, well, ooh, that was scandalous. So I'm gonna pick a little bit of that, and then I'm gonna get a little bit of her in me. So it was like every time I watch a movie, I think like, yeah, Rhonda gonna be that right there this week, and then it's like next week, Rhonda gonna have a little bit
I like
of that
that.
in there.
Right.
Like,
But you doing your homework. You know,
Right.
and that's to be respected.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Anytime you do a craft, you want to be the best.
gotta work
your
at it.
craft. You gotta work. You gotta do the due diligence. I applaud you for that. You know what I mean? That's what's up. You know.
Well, thank you, Miss DJ, aka Nene, or
Next.
either or. You know, we looking
That's
forward
right.
to
We
seeing
got all
what
y'all to
you're
talk.
doing.
We want
Wait a minute, let me hop back on real quick.
Uh-oh.
Just a second.
Oh, you got something to tell us.
Hey, Madam Queen.
Madam Queen,
She said, let me hop back on that.
the Queen.
Yeah, okay. She ain't playing. Let me hop back on that right quick.
I wasn't finished.
No, the reason why I have back on is because, you know, I'm sitting there thinking, our senior year, Mr. Romano's class, I played Sugar T, and somebody played E40, and we videotaped it in class, so I didn't want to leave out, you know, none of my girls.
Shout out to Mr.
Word up.
Romano,
None of
man.
my
R.I.P.
girls,
that
be
dude.
upset
He
with me
was that
because
dude.
we did have that scene.
I was actually the host of,
popping, and it was going.
97.
We rapped and we had a good time. So
That was
yeah,
Mr. Romano, shout out. man.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Good dude, man.
right, good dude.
He,
So,
one thing about it, he brought that out of his students too. He tried to, he's one of the
He
most
did.
tried to promote
He
his about his
did.
students, man.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
I feel real upset. Still to this day from something I did because he always tried to bring out the best in me. He wanted me to pray because I was so knowledgeable about the difference in religions in his class, and I came to class fried, and he got so mad he got up and left. You know, after class, and I was so hurt because I was still looking at him like, but I'm not God. Even though I'm supposed to pray and I know these things and I'm, educated enough to know, what was in class and in the books before he taught it to me, he took it real personal.
He just told you to higher standard because he saw it in you.
But
That's what
and
that is.
he changed my life and made me for the better because of it. So I
That's
can't
what's up.
complain. I learned from my mistakes. So
That's what's up.
definitely,
Word up.
definitely can say that it made a great impact on me. He was a good dude. Yeah.
We appreciate that. We
All
appreciate
right.
that.
97 Griffs.
Hey, just so y'all know, I was the host of 1997, the little show we did too. Just so y'all know, he was in our class. Y'all remember that? We kicked him. 97. What's going on,
How
bro?
y'all doing? How y'all
What's
doing?
up, bro?
How y'all doing? My name Demetrius. First, I want to give a shout out and thanks to God for allowing me to do this, and Prophecy for allowing me to be a part of a powerful movement, for our community, right along with what I'm doing myself as well. This right here was like a home run hit for me, because when he asked me, so he like, I need you, I need you to play this role. I was like, okay, I just instantly hit it like, okay, I'm gonna play this role. Then when I got the role, it was like, Dirty Red. I said, Dirty Red. I said, well, what did Dirty Red do? He was like, well, he a dope dealer. I said, oh, I said, wait a minute, that's not good, because the role I'm doing, but Prophecy didn't know what I was doing as well. So then we thought about it like, you got to do something else, we got to figure out something else, it's like, we got to make your role be something, interesting and for the community as well. So we ended up saying a dirty cop, Dirty Red, the dirty cop, undercover. So, it was so like on point to where when I played the character, it was like ad-libs, and I got my partner right here, because not only that we did this, but we doing this with Prophecy, which like his acting skills, I'm gonna tell all y'all, his acting skills is one of the best skills. And if you need an actor or his classes or anything, that's the man right there. That man right there. You know what I'm saying? And I love it because, he's showing me still right. This is my first time acting. And I'm not gonna lie to y'all, this is my first time ever doing it. Then we got somebody else that's, so shout out to Chris and shout out to Frank. Shout out to Frank, everybody, because they came at us again and was like, hey, we need y'all to play in this other scene for us for another movie, that we're doing in Hollywood. I said, what?
So you getting gigs now?
Yeah, like, so we like, what? Wait a minute, like,
that's
hold on, like, dang, we doing that good, so we like, okay, well, I guess we doing something right, but I'm gonna tell y'all one thing. If you come work for Prophecy when you're doing acting, you better be on time. You better be on time, because he gonna leave your ass.
You got
like,
doing burpees or push-ups?
Now I got a question. I heard you like, he said burpees.
Silly.
You said you didn't want to be. You said you didn't want to be the dope dealer. He said.
Right, it was like you would have called me before, I was doing what I'm doing, then I probably would have played the whole scene out, like, okay, sweet, but, he, like I said, he didn't even know what was going on with my movement and stuff, what I was doing, So he's
so what you got going on?
I got put down the guns and pick up your life,
Okay.
I got that going on.
Okay. I've seen that hashtag.
I was approved by the mayor and, mayor's office and everything. We putting that together, for our community. That's why I love this guy, because, and I love what y'all doing too, because, this is like bringing all the community back together. Like, they see us doing it, they can follow right behind and do it too.
Exactly.
If I can change, you can change,
Exactly.
That's real.
That's how it is, and like I said, if the role I'm playing, it's gonna show a lot where what I used to do and how I was back in the day. Like, I want me, a little kid, version of me, growing up and being all bad and this and this and this, and then coming up like, oh man, I changed my life around, because it's all about stop the violence, it's all about, it's all about, everybody coming back together as a unit in the community, as a whole, and that's what I want to do, that's what I'm coming with. That's how I want my community to be, It's not just about me, it's about everybody, and that's what I tell everybody. I'm not in it by myself. I see anybody doing something good, and I know I'm trying to do good myself, I'm with you. I'm for it. I'm supporting it. I want y'all to support me as well, but you don't have to, because I'm still going to support you. You know what I'm saying? Because God going to support me.
You're doing it for you. And us. Word up.
But like I said, when we play our roles and stuff, like, he got to coach us. Yeah, that's the coach too. Yeah, it's the coach.
So tell us the hardest, the biggest challenges you face, like situation in the script or in the portrayal process.
Well, the biggest challenge was when I when getting me to my role, I got I got to go over. Excuse me, y'all, but I had to burp. But anyways, but when he get me to the when he come up there like, okay, this is what you got to say and blah blah. He tell me what I got to say. Sometimes I think I'm about to forget. You know what I'm saying? But then he say put an ad lib with it. Like, he's like, try to put an ad lib with it, but still stay with the script. Mm-hmm. So I sit there and like, man, I don't think I'm gonna get it right. We might be here all day, you know,
That's
messing around with me. You
what
know,
outtakes is for.
So it's
Yeah,
gonna
we
be a
might
minute.
here all day
Right.
messing around with me. But when I do it, you know what I'm saying, it's just like right there. I remember it. It hit home run. It did bang. You know, so I put the little ad-libs in it, and he'd be like, great, perfect. Don't worry about it. But sometimes he'd be like, hold on, wait. You missed your role. You missed what you had to say. You know, so like shout out to my twin brother too. Like you do. Oh man, I love you, but man, you had us there for like 30 minutes playing a role. You had us there for 30 whole minutes, and you still forgot your role. I had to help you out with your role. I'm not hating on y'all. I love y'all.
I can't.
See, he can do that because, bro, he
But I can't laugh too hard, man, because see, I get up in here in the booth sometime, man, and I'll be done wrote this track, wrote the verse. I know it in the back of my head all day. Come to record, we got 46, 47 takes on one verse. You know, that's when you get rusty at times. You know what I mean? I used to be a one take
Right,
wonder.
you know.
But when you got jobs, family, and all that, and you come in the booth and it's like, all right, go, and you're like, I know this verse. Why I keep messing with this one
Right,
verse?
and you know, you ready before you
happens.
get
But
there.
that's
You know,
the reason why I tell them the easiest way to remember your lines. Even I even piggyback off of what you just said. When I go in the booth, the way that I allow myself to remember everything that I really want to lay down is, before I get there, I done did that song 10 times. I done rap that song to myself 10 times. I done sat in the car and listened to it, rap it, and what I do is I record it, and then I play it back to myself, and I keep on. But as far as when you doing it acting, the key is to don't be you. Become the character.
Right.
Really, really become the character. And I tell them, I say,
Yeah,
give your character a personality. The personality will help develop the script more solid in your mind. If you give the character a personality, if you add to the character, you being the character is what adds to the character's flavor.
Right.
You know, so take from some of the flavor of your own natural life and add it to the character, and then develop a whole new personality for the character. And then you'll start really studying the lines because you'll start really embracing the character.
That's another spoiler alert, because my character not only, you know what I'm saying, you know, the slash dirty cop drug dealer, and you know, the cop. Now, I'm gonna have my good scene where, you know what I'm saying, I know we all, you know, but it's gonna be so.
Don't give it to him. Don't give it to him.
Look, hold on. It's gonna be so off the hook how I'm about to play this character, because I know there's one part and there's one role.
Dirty Red.
Hey,
We'll be back. We'll be back.
Yeah,
TV2. Next.
Dirty Red.
Next. Dirty Red.
Dirty Red. Y'all heard me?
Dirty Red.
Come check it out. Hood Chronicles.
No,
Coming to y'all real soon.
But you know, it's the movie right now. Like the way we play it out, how we all playing it, we already love the movie ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Like, because we the actors and we acted in the movie, so we already get to see before everybody
Shout
know
out
how
to
we act. You know what I'm saying? We
Dream, who plays
yes,
Adore Rhonda.
Yes,
She killed it in her.
Man, Dream and Dier.
Shout out to Latoya, who plays
Rocky,
Ra-Ra, which is
Ra-Ra,
Rhonda's mom.
Man, listen, like
Rocky.
everybody, and like
Got a
shout
full-
out to
full-
my twin
full
brother,
cast.
you know,
Definitely got a cast.
we got a full cast, full cast, full people, you know what I'm saying? Just like Young Rhonda said, you know what I'm saying? It's like family, you know what I'm saying? We all getting on the set, we all know our roles, we laughing and giggling, you know what I'm saying? And we know our roles, but we get to see it before y'all, you know what I'm saying? Because it's just right there.
I would hope so.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So I'm already loving it and watching it. I watch it every night. Like, man, look at this. Look at all our roles and stuff. You
Look
know?
at old Dirty Red.
Look at this right here, y'all. Like,
my part.
this
My part.
right
My
here,
part.
like,
My
you know,
part.
I'm loving it, you know, but I want to keep it short, you know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying, you know, we hope y'all love it. We hope y'all enjoy it when it come out.
He
We hope
definitely
y'all
got
enjoy
he in character now.
the
Look at the
movement.
toothpick. That's a Dirty Red toothpick, y'all.
We hope y'all enjoy it, you know what I'm saying? Everything that we got coming for y'all, you know what I'm saying? And I salute and we love y'all.
All right. That's what's up, man. We appreciate that.
Word up. Word up.
We gonna get somebody else? Can we get another one of the ladies or somebody? I mean, cause the cheer look all sad, frown on it and shit. We needed to smile. There we go. Put a face in that cheer with a smile. There we go, y'all.
Hey, shout out to Geneva Cummings, dopest makeup artist in the city.
Okay.
She gonna be the reason why Netflix call us and say,
Would y'all like to go ahead and put y'all series on Netflix?
Shout
out
to
to
Netflix.
Let's get the Netflix.
Netflix, Amazon. You know what I'm saying? We know somebody call it.
And I'm gonna be on my Adam Sandler shit. So if you're out there and you never helped, don't worry. I got my crew. Every film we put together gonna be the same people with a couple of new folks involved. That's it.
Yeah, man.
And we're trying to promote every movie.
Hey,
Yes.
What's going on? What's your name, young lady?
My name is Sequoia, but I go by Tiny,
Okay.
and I play Miss Cortez. My character haven't really hit yet into the series, not just yet, but I do play a good part. I do have different personalities. Not too different because my character so far is real calm, but I have a real serious side about her man. So I'm just trying to play it out, to be honest. I do have a background though. I do have a background with acting. I'm with Pro Model and Talent. I was played a scene with Mike Epps, Acts of Violence. I was in a scene with him. Also did little stuff on the side. But I am from Bookville, 1040.
Come on, man.
Griff gang. Griff gang.
Come on, man.
Griff gang.
Come on, man.
But the cast has been really awesome. I go home all the time and be like, that was like the light of my day, because it just also working, doing something that you love to do. Like my career is going to acting, so doing something that you love to do is always a blessing. Right. I actually met him through somebody who wrote, like he had put something on Facebook. My licensed sister told me about it, and she was like, oh, just go ahead and do it. And I had hit him up and was like, whatever character, extra position you want me to be in, I would do it.
That's what's up.
Just to add on to my resume and just to be a part of something great. I always love to do something. Something always.
So you got chops in the game. Your character has that had to been awesome.
Oh yeah, you just see me. Yeah, when he walked into the room as an apart, he walked past me. I'm looking at him like everybody acting normal. I'm like, do y'all not know who this man is? Like they calling him Mr. Mike. I said, no, you call him Mike. Like like don't be all. But it was real cool. Like he made the set real, and because I had that experience, it made me tell me what I really want to do in life. So that's something I really want to do.
That's what's up.
So.
You know, the acting bug. You know, I've been in 2 films myself. The acting bug. I'm sure. You know, I know how it is when it hits you. Like, okay, yeah, I want to do that. You know, you get the goosebumps, and then you like you challenge yourself, and then.
Which makes me surprised he didn't let y'all know that he's gonna be in the film.
You know.
Oh what?
Well, see, here's the thing. What had happened was.
And I didn't even know of this information at all.
The way my schedule was set up, and the timing of the rehearsal, I was on deck for the one Saturday, and then you had to reschedule, and then the next Saturday I had to work that one. So I thought the role got handed over. So I said, okay, well look, anywhere I can help, let me know. I know, you know what I mean.
Which involved you.
He gonna do it like that. You know what I'm saying? He gonna, I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna take that one.
Prof, remember that conversation I said we're gonna have after the show? It will be extensive.
But for the record, you know what I'm saying? Point and shoot wherever you need me. I'm in. I just need to have a time so I know how to get myself free.
That's the other blessing too.
Love it,
you know,
man.
I mean, purchasing this equipment that I'll be the man with the cameras. You know, now I'm gonna keep my videographers on deck because they're beautiful.
Right.
But I'll be the man with the cameras. I'm so serious that I've been sitting down taking tutorials on how to edit and everything. So I'll be doing a lot of the filming and just letting my videographers edit. You know, and help me learn to edit better. Right. And I work with everybody's schedule. I'm available every day. You know, I'm the boss at my job.
Right.
So you know, if I need to come in, you know, so. It is what it is.
You're trying to make it work, man. You found something that you're actually doing it. Yeah. You know what I mean? And you're showing improvement right here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's just the glow of your cast, the glow of you, bro. She got me smiling like a motherfucker. You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
what's up, man? That's good to see.
I forgot to tell y'all.
Y'all niggas gonna quit forgetting what to say.
Look, I met another photographer that he know as well. he told me to put a script together. So I'm finna do a movie myself called The Bounty Hunter. So I want everybody to stay tuned to that.
Okay.
And I got, you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna get the cast together, everybody that's originally. I definitely need that Bounty Hunter.
It's gonna be a
right
spin-off.
there. Yeah, it's finna,
Okay.
you know what I'm saying, hopefully he let me, you know what I'm saying, try to spin it off toward, you know what I'm saying, that, you know, that Club Chronicles, you know what I'm saying, you know, and, you know, because it all wouldn't happen if it wasn't for him, you know what I'm saying, this wouldn't be happening if it wasn't for him, you know, so, I mean, I gotta have him a part of everything, you know what I'm saying, because it all started with him. So I'm not about to leave him out of nothing. Like I said, I don't leave nobody out. I count everybody in.
Straight
So
up.
He got to be a part of it.
So anything. Let's we like derailed a little bit. We was
Oh, no,
kind
you're
of shit.
fine.
So let's get back to. So what else you got going on?
Right now, nothing for real.
Just doing this.
Yeah, I'm doing. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this life right here.
Yeah, I'm
Word
about
up.
trying to do something else. Well, mostly right now is getting my acting stuff. I do want to learn how to be behind the camera and learn all the things, which I'm gonna talk to you about that later.
Yeah,
but
all that
it's
stuff.
because I don't just want to be an actress.
Right.
I want to be able to be an all around player. You know what I mean?
You want to know the
Um,
best.
yeah,
That's
so-
fair though. Yeah.
It's just something big because you can't just start with one thing. If it's something you're passionate about, you're gonna end up doing multiple
True.
things and don't even know that you're doing it.
Just out of love of it.
Mm-hmm. So
That's
that's one thing I want to do is, and then I got my little cousin following in my footsteps. So she wants to be a director. So why not? You know what I mean?
Once again,
I want to
mentor.
make the path for her. Yeah,
Right.
make the path for her and keep her positive. Like
Her.
it's just too much out here. Like she wants to get out acting, but it's not all bad. You see too much bad stuff, but I want to be able to have her like you can still come back and see something different.
Most definitely.
So
If you could tell us what actors or actresses in Hollywood or in you know growing
In
up
the industry.
in the industry have
Taraji.
influenced you? Okay.
Taraji, my favorite actor is Will Smith.
Okay.
I just love the way like
That's
I
bad, boy.
Fresh Prince, that right there is
Right.
what sent me down the path of wanting to be an actress. Is just watching him be able to change. Like I used, funny. He was funny. Then with seeing him serious scenes, how he made me cry at home.
Right.
Very
Just
dynamic.
feeling like be able to change somebody's emotion, let them feel it, even if it's not real to you. You know what I mean? Like, but it's just acting like my character. Okay, my character. The parts that some of the parts is real because that's actually what I've been through with some. I ain't trying to get in trouble, but been through. You know what I mean? But I want to switch it up. I just don't want to put something that I've been through. I want to be able to change that emotion to make it
Right.
different but real.
Channel it.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems like you can correct me if I'm wrong, bro. It seems like to me that you challenge your crew.
Oh, yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So being that you challenge them, I think they all feel like they feel the love. You know what I'm saying? So y'all gonna be good, man. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause y'all gotta love y'all got it's like we love Big Bro and it's like we ain't gonna let Big Bro down and Big Bro ain't gonna let y'all down.
And,
You see what
and,
I'm
Alright,
saying?
he already told us
That's
that.
how it go.
Mhm.
and
know
you
what I
know,
mean?
the beautiful thing about that too is that it's also what gives me openness because instead of just being strict, stay to the script, I tell them, if you feel it come on you and you can play with the role a little bit, ad lib.
Cause we all learned it together.
Yeah, ad lib.
Exactly.
Go ahead
We all
and
learned
let
it.
you
Right,
let
exactly.
you out.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because you're gonna bring that character all the way to life, and your experience on screen is just as important as the story of acting.
Exactly.
Because you are acting.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So.
Word up.
Akron, stand up, man.
Y'all all
TBT
Akron.
radio,
TBT
man.
radio.
Keeping it a buck.
Cause we don't give a fuck. Yeah, that is our
That's our
slogan.
slogan, y'all.
Yo, I wanna thank y'all for showing up.
Anybody got anything to say real fast before we get up out of here?
Get up there, keep
Anybody got anything else? We don't want to leave nobody out there.
I just want to say.
we don't want y'all to come back on the line like something else. Something.
I just want to say that working with is being great. Like just having him around actually is very positive. Like his positivity actually changed certain things. Like because I'm right now going through a whole bunch of hectic stuff, but when I come to set, that whole thing disappeared. Like I'm actually at peace.
You leave it at the door.
Yes, I leave it at the door. I'm actually
That's
at peace
what's up.
with it, and it's a peaceful mindset. And then be able to have love for people that you don't even know is a great thing. Like,
Ain't it funny how
it's a
that
great-
happens
it
when,
is.
when you're going through a trial on one end,
Oh, yeah.
you also are given a blessing in another way.
Better say.
You know, some of the best projects that I've been involved in, it came at the most tumultuous times in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And it gets you to pull the things that you're going through and the lessons that you're learning. It's like you get fed
Yep.
for doing that.
Breakthrough is birthed
You
out
know
of
what I mean?
turmoil.
Right.
Straight up.
You can't break through without having something pushing up against you. You know, if you got a locked door behind you, the best thing to ever do is have somebody on the other side of you pushing you hard enough to get through the door.
Straight up. And they come around at times when you need them, and that's why.
Oh yeah, that's
Exactly.
That's why this is what y'all have going on now. You know, so I'm definitely excited to see what's happening because I'm feeling a lot of positive energy being poured into this, man.
Yeah, it's been a great show.
Yeah,
man.
this
I
a
ain't
feel
gonna
good
lie,
show,
man.
man.
It's been a
You
great
know.
show, man.
but
You know what I'm saying?
thank you guys.
Oh, you already know. You already know.
Thank y'all for having us.
Most
We got
definitely.
one
Most
more.
You go
definitely.
ahead, girl.
We got one more.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
We're good.
How you doing, miss?
Introduce yourself, please.
I'm Akiba. I was born in Akron,
Okay.
but I was raised in Canton. So I'm the only one
Okay.
that did not go to Bookto. I went to McKinley.
So what? We see y'all later on the TBT radio show. As always.
Bulldogs. Bulldog Nation, okay?
We ain't gonna do it like that, y'all. We ain't gonna do it. No, but so what do you? So what's How did you meet the brother? What's gonna give us a little background? Let us know what's going on.
I've been knowing him for years. I've been knowing him for a long time. So he had put on Facebook he was looking for actors, and I would let him know, like, oh, if you need me to be an extra, just let me know.
Right.
So one day he just messaged me. He's like, hey, I need you to come play this part. And I'm like, okay. So I went down there thinking I'm just gonna be an extra. He's like, oh, you're a nurse, and I'm like, okay. He's like, I need you to play this part. I'm like, okay. So then he's like, so your character is Nurse Elena, and I'm like, okay. And he's like, her story comes more later on as the show goes on. I'm like, okay. So we'll see what's gonna happen, how her character plays out, but it should be pretty interesting.
So there's a bit of mystery. and
Yeah,
intrigue.
Yeah, it's a bit
That's what I'm
mystery
hearing.
right there.
That's what I'm hearing. Like you
Yeah.
passing people up, but really you might be on some bullshit.
I might be.
I'll give a little bit of a spoiler.
I might be.
One of the things that they end up seeing, because I wanted to display real life. She's a nurse,
Okay.
so you find her hooked on meds.
You the
But
black
she's
nurse
hooked
daddy.
on meds, right?
Right.
Right. She's hooked on meds, but she's a dope hustler too.
Okay.
Oh.
So her hustle hand.
This sound like a
It
It's
makes
gonna be
her,
interesting.
it,
Yeah,
it
it's
makes
gonna be-
her a little bit more aggressive toward the hustling than it does for her to be in the addiction.
Oh,
But
okay.
she
Right.
ends up. I give a little bit. I'm gonna give a little bit of.
Right. We're supposed to be
Right.
best friends of this.
She ends up
supposed to have on
having to change because somebody connected to her gets pregnant, and she has to play like the other parent because dad ain't around. You know, females do that for each other all the time.
Yeah.
Right.
So dad ain't around. She has to play the other parent, and when the baby's born, she actually falls in love with the baby, and it makes her clean up her life. But then she ends up falling in love with somebody who's still in that life, and I won't tell you how that goes.
Okay.
Oh man,
Okay.
Interesting. That's gonna
Yo,
be interesting.
this is some well written.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
gonna be
there's a lot of
Written
twists.
going on.
Right,
Right.
it's gonna be,
There's a lot of
yeah,
twists, man.
yeah. I feel like a lot of
M. Night
cliffhangers about to
Shyamalan.
happen.
Every time you think still going like, man, she just nursed
Yeah.
them up and shit. Dang.
But you
My
should do it
favorite
right
thing
now.
is I don't tell them everything.
Right.
Yeah.
So
So they just come in.
Right.
Oh, that's
right.
sweet.
I'm just gonna comment on it. He's gonna be like, this
Here's
is
your
what
script
you
today.
Right.
I'm doing what?
Right. Like, wait, what?
Hey, it's gonna be fun to
No,
walk
no,
in
no.
and walk in and be like, hey man, you dying today.
I'm like,
So when they get the act script, right? You know what I'm saying? They in the moment, cause I don't want my character to leave.
No, you don't, man.
So when they die, it's like you get the real emotion out of it.
Yeah,
all
you get the
night.
right. You gotta die.
leave it like that, man.
It's real.
You don't get back for that nigga that's
But
still
the
money.
beautiful
You
thing about it, I don't know how many of y'all ever watched anything like Supernatural or.
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The beautiful thing about it, I was like, how am I gonna bring certain characters back? Because I know people gonna want them back.
Right.
But there's angels and demons.
Yeah, that reverse shit you talking
Yeah.
about.
Exactly.
I reverse it.
So we're gonna end up bringing people back and changing the circumstances altogether, so they get a whole new storyline.
So a nigga be dead for a
So,
week. and
so
then
let me
he
tell
come
you,
back.
I have to tell, So I have to tell the truth how I kind of cheated this into my writing. I was watching Once Upon a Time, Once
Okay.
upon a time, every time they have a curse, they get a new life. Every time a curse is called over the cast, they get a new life. So I said, okay, well, with us being angels and there being angels and demons involved, we can reverse situations and bring about a whole new storyline for that person, bringing that person back into
Listen, man, I
into
done
the
seen
limelight.
shit that was weird as fuck, and they making money.
Making
Your
money.
shit sound like a nigga. I want to see it.
Right.
So you know, come on, man. I mean, really, come on, man.
Right.
It's a different ball game.
Right.
It's all like I say, it's all about taking the tool.
You know, this puts me in the mind of David Banner's. He did a superhero miniseries of his own for the Guide Box.
Where can I find that?
He's selling it exclusively off his page, man. The clips might be on YouTube, but I didn't get to see the full production of it. But kind of the aspect of tying knowledge of self into supernatural abilities, and with everyday people.
Right.
So, you know, that's dope.
Right.
It just shows the time that we in right
Yeah,
now.
exactly.
Man. I mean,
People-
people
time
are
they
starting
move.
to look inward rather than outside for elevation and spiritual substance and
Right.
enlightenment. Which, truthfully, I mean, it's a whole nother conversation. But when
Right.
we get outside of Western philosophy, we already
Right.
know that that's
Right.
how it is. So, you know, this is
And
dope.
it's, and it's strange that you touched on that, man, because you kind of spoiling my surprise for them, but.
I'm gonna shut up.
So you got any background? Any of your background?
Well,
Yeah.
it's the only part I will give up. The angels and the demons aren't the only ones that have special abilities.
Okay. Okay.
You know what this stands for. I know that's right.
Yeah.
I know that's right.
Let me find out Dirty Ray just get this conjure up. Nigga, you got one. You got one. You know,
That's how he gonna use it.
yeah, oh, you
I
thought
don't have a warrant. Look in your back pocket. Look in your back
you
pocket.
thought you was getting out today. You know what I'm saying?
Your papers say next
I got your summons, right?
Commissary, nigga. You know.
No, this is a caveus one,
What part my man right here playing? What part you playing?
That's my part.
Yeah, we gotta do the part you playing.
Word up.
Real
What's
fast.
up, now?
What's up? What part you playing?
That's
Real
my
fast.
captain.
Hold on. But the first, did you any background on
That's
your?
captain.
Oh yeah,
Jackson.
I've been doing public
Captain
speaking
Jackson, okay.
and acting since I was a little girl. Like I was at Heritage Christian School, and the first thing I did was a public speak.
Okay.
Okay.
So I've been doing it.
So you comfortable?
Oh, I'm. This is natural.
Yeah,
It comes
that's
natural to me.
That's what's
I
up.
feel that vibe.
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
Exactly.
Definitely.
We will get you in real fast because you ain't said nothing yet,
Yep.
man. So we want to see what you talking about. Maybe you can go ahead and see. He been saying all day. He
Yeah.
cool. He been yeah.
What's up now?
So what you do, bro? What's your show?
Well, I play a detective.
Okay.
You know, I do security for a living, so
Alright.
naturally, you know, that's what I do.
I can
you
dig
know.
it.
So I guess Prof thought I'd be perfect for the job. You know.
Detective Jackson.
Now, Detective Jackson gonna wear that chain around his neck?
No, this is
Yeah, that nigga
personal
Jackson
life.
is a problem.
He already wore it in there.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, with the cuffs.
You know what I'm about to do. You
Right.
You
Jackson
don't
got a
tell
little
me
thug
what's
in
going
him.
on.
They swing
Hey,
that
you
mother
feel-
around, swing it
Listen,
around.
y'all both look like y'all gonna be some fucked up cops, man. They just look like they gonna be some fucked up cops.
I try to be good.
You got lines open training.
Right. Hey, they
Load
gonna,
up,
man,
all kinds of shit.
they gonna want training day 2 with you niggas.
Right.
We gonna add a nigga with y'all niggas. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I said too. Training
Oh
day.
man, shit, this gonna be called training week. That's
Training
week.
day too. I'm talking about the new bad boys. He talking about training day too.
I'm telling you,
Way
man.
better movie. Way better movie.
So have you done any acting before? It's your first time getting
It's
down?
my second actually. You know,
Okay.
Did it with Prof.
Okay.
Did a video before. What was that video called again? First one we did together.
Was it Street Stone? No, it wasn't Street Stone.
Downtown Live, remember that?
Yeah, I do remember. Love of Money.
Yep. There
Love
it
of
is.
Money.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, me and Prof, man, we've been boys for a long time now. You
That's
know,
what's
I
up.
met him when I was like 17, 18, doing security. Him and my dad went way back doing security, so.
I'm his dad's little bro, so I had, you know,
Word up.
I became the head of security at just about every club in the city. So I was like, come on, just like your daddy.
Come on, yeah, shit.
Family business.
That's what's up, though, man.
That's word.
Man, it, like I
Then
said,
he spun off. I mean, I'm proud of him though, but then he spun off, and I encouraged it too. Like most dudes would be, you know, some people once they get you under their clutches, they feel like they gotta hold you back because you gonna take away from whatever it is about them. But I encouraged it. He turned around and got his own security company after working with me for a while. I'm doing good, man.
That's
you want to shout your security? You want to shout your security thing out? So they, we out here. Might as well
Yeah,
shout it
'cause I'm
out.
retired. That's who y'all can talk to
I said you
now.
can shout your
Nah,
security
man.
thing out.
The name of my business
Yes,
is
sir.
G4 Security.
Okay.
I'm everywhere. I do security for local rappers and other rappers. I work with like a lot of celebrities on a regular basis.
That's what's up.
That's
The
what's
last
up.
show I did was with Boosie.
Okay.
I work with him again next month. We come to kick Cleveland. So Sada Baby, I'm about to be doing his personal security.
Okay.
So I mean,
You eat.
Sada Baby was just up here at the Uptown.
mhm.
Yeah,
Right.
I was down with him.
Shout out to my homie Fat Baby.
Ace Hood was here last night too, wasn't
I don't meet a lot. That's what I'll be doing.
he? Yeah, Ace Hood was here
I don't
last
know.
night.
Hey, Zud was here. I was in my bed.
Yeah.
That's no good.
Right.
My bad, bro. My bad. I couldn't help it.
I like that song Ride. That's my favorite song. That Ride, him and Trey Songz. That's that one.
Hey, man. For real, man. This is great, bro, man. For real, bro. I want to let you know, man.
What's that?
We like what we seeing, bro. You know what I'm saying? Because the main thing that I see from this shit, man, this shit just it's all smiles around this motherfucker, man. You know what I'm saying? And every like she said, when you hear people say that they comfortable coming to work, I feel like when I'm at work, I'm at peace. Who says that shit?
Right.
Most people like, I'm about to go to the goddamn job. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right.
You know what I'm saying? They going there, and that says something. You know what I'm saying? That says for that atmosphere that you putting down and the leadership that you're doing, brother, I commend you for that shit. You know, so I met this brother at the Fitness 19 and shit before I shrunk. See, before it was, I had a different nigga. I looked at like two, but I got sick of the other niggas, so I got rid of him. So then I shrunk. That's what happened. But I met this brother at Fitness 19. That's what happened, nigga. So I met him at Fitness 19. You know what I mean? And you know what I'm saying? Just talking to the brother, man, just small conversations and shit, man. You know what I'm saying? We ain't never really had any like dealing from just the conversation we had. I said, brother got a head on his shoulder. You can just tell. Real recognize real, man.
Right.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Strong brothers recognize strong brothers.
Yeah.
And that's what it is, man. We see the strong foundation here with the beautiful lady, and y'all so beautiful. You know what I'm saying? And
That's our sister right there. Fellas, stay away from it because we coming for you.
ain't nobody fucking with Rhonda, man. Ain't nobody fucking with Rhonda. Who fucking with Rhonda?
I think I told you shot gun.
Yeah, you better leave Rhonda alone.
That's the crew, baby. That's the crew.
This nigga, hey, the nigga got a chain with a lock. You gonna get your ass kicked. It's gonna happen. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
The first time.
He got a Superman and he got the Jesus because he praying for your ass because he don't want to do it.
Mine's on my chest, bro.
See what I'm saying? See what I'm saying?
That's eight. Superhuman.
You see what I'm saying?
Word up.
Don't let the cross fool you. This is what I jump on this every day.
You see what I'm
I
saying?
don't wear this for benefit.
Hey, remember how you said something about
Word up.
the Hawk and all that shit? We don't need prop smash, my nigga.
I'm just trying,
You know what I'm
I'm
saying?
trying to stay humble, you know? But yeah, we appreciate y'all, man, for having y'all on it. Let me go ahead and
Word
close her out.
Yeah, so-
We appreciate y'all for having us on. And excuse me, sir.
That's what happened to two big niggas walk past each other. Friction.
Yeah. And you know, just keep watching, keep paying attention. You know, he said we ain't gonna discuss this till afterwards, but y'all gonna see this whole
most definitely.
situation in the film. Okay. Also, Brittany Miller. Shout out to Brittany Miller.
Shout out to Ear Candy Radio.
What's going on?
They're going to be another podcast radio that's going to be in the film. The thing about it is, you guys are so iconic to what's going on in the city of Akron right now. You know, people may think you're just putting together a little podcast radio station, blah, blah, skit, whatever. But you're providing a voice. And this takes me back to the times of the civil rights movement, where they were in basements and, you know, having meetings and recording, you know, history and things like that. This is history, man.
Yes,
you know,
sir.
y'all history in the
Yes,
making,
sir.
and we all history in the making together. And I pledge, you know, openly and verbally that anything that I can do to help build y'all foundation, I don't need any type of payment or anything like that.
Straight
The
up.
payment I'm going to get out of it is leaving a legacy of a good name, and I challenge the rest of my culture and the rest of humanity with this. You know, yeah, we can go for the bag, we can chase the bag, and that's cool. Chasing the bag results in, you know, sometimes good wealth and you know, you get to enjoy that and all that. But then sometimes you get the bag, you die, it's left to your kids. Your kids fuck it up, and that's all they got. They ain't got nothing else. But if you leave a good name,
Talk,
you leave
bro.
a good name.
Talk.
You leave your child. If my last name is King because my father's Martin Luther King. If my last name is X because my father is Malcolm X. If my last name is Garvey because my father is Marcus Garvey, or you know, my last name is Parks because my mother is Rosa Parks. It's hard for me to get out here in society and screw up because then people are going to point me in the direction of my name. So while you're out there chasing the bag, chase the sobriety of your name and leave the sobriety of your name in the earth to the point where it touches this generation strong enough that it keeps touching generations after that and causes your children and your children's children to inherit that good name, because a good parent leaves an inheritance to his children and his children's children. And I promise y'all that's not monetary, because a good name is to be more cherished than precious silver and gold. And a good name will have people, if you my child and I leave a good name, it'll have people saying, hey, you so-and-so's boy, come here, man, I got something for you. Just snatch your ass out of the devil's den. So you want to, you know, leave your children with a good life, leave them with a name to be proud of. You know, let them be proud to be a Dorsey or a Jackson or a Johnson, you know, because of what you did in the earth. Don't leave them with the shame of blame. And the shame of blame is, oh, you just like your daddy. You know, you don't never want to hear that when your daddy was a tyrant. You know, so I challenge all of my culture and the rest of humanity, because there's no such thing as races. There's only one race, the human race. We're just multicultural. But I challenge my culture and the rest of humanity to start thinking about your name. Start thinking about what you're leaving as a legacy, so that your children and their children's children have something to live up to, instead of just trying to chase the bag. Because, you know, if you get a good enough name, you ain't got to chase the bag. The bag will chase you.
You better say it.
All right.
Hey, man. Hey.
We don't need to say
we don't need to
enough.
say shit. The brother did what he said.
Hey, that's
He
truth
did.
be told, radio.
Come on, man. Like I always tell y'all, man, just love each other, man.
Peace.
Get out of here, man. Dope, bro. Dope. Appreciate that.
All right, fellas.
Hey.
Yes, sir, man.
Appreciate it.
Yes.
Appreciate it.
Shit, man.
My man, you too, bro.
I like what you said.
Good being on the set with y'all too.
Man, that was
You
very
know,
fun.
you know, it's gonna be around when I take off all the way with you, put down the gun, I'm gonna have to come on here and do it again with y'all.
Oh, most definitely.